Yeah, no, I could not mentally handle me revenge trading for the third time and being in a cold shower. 50,000 into account right now, and I'm making $20,000 a day, easy. Of course, demo account for everybody is super easy. Don't cheat on your pairs and don't cheat on your girls.
It's smart.
Realistically, like just being completely honest, I don't want to be a trader for the rest of my life.
Okay, welcome everybody to another podcast. We're here today with Joovier, Christian, and Owen, and myself, Gary. So we're looking to have a chat here today about trading, diversifying your income streams, community, and a whole lot more. Yeah. So nice to be with you all today.
Thanks,
Gary.
Yeah. So I think first off, let's maybe start with your background, Joovier. Maybe do you want to tell us how you got into trading, how you got started in the industry, and I suppose where it's brought you from when you started?
Yeah. So realistically, it started all in about 2016. At this point, I've been making YouTube. So I've been a YouTuber for 10 years now. So I've been making YouTube videos for a long time. And I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with YouTube. YouTube pays pretty okay. So I was making a decent amount of money. And then I stumbled upon a video on YouTube about this one trader that made like $13,000 in one day. And I'm like, okay. And I had never heard of like day trading before. I'd been in crypto and stuff like that because my dad had crypto for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I never heard of day trading. I thought it was just like buying stocks and holding it for a long time. Then I saw this video and he was making a day in the life video. And in the bottom left corner of the video is like a counter of how much money he was making that day. And it just kept going up from like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 13,000. I'm like, I need to reconsider something. I got to look something up. I got to figure out what this is. Mm-hmm. So I ended up like watching a bunch of his videos, ended up buying his course, watched through the whole course, buying another course. I ended up probably buying like 5 or 6 different courses, watching every possible video on YouTube so I could figure out how to do this thing that I never heard about. So that's realistically where it started. It all started with me seeing some video of this guy making a ridiculous amount of money in one day. And I was like, there's no way this is possible. And I kind of just went down a dark rabbit hole for a long time trying to figure this out.
Nice. Yeah. And I suppose from starting in those, taking those courses, obviously then it takes a lot of effort and a lot of trial and error. How long was that road before you felt you were getting, well, nobody's perfect, obviously. Yeah. Everybody's trading we're always learning. But I suppose how long did you feel it took until you got to that point of feeling, okay, now I'm consistent regularly?
Yeah, so people ask me that question a lot, and it's so hard for me to pinpoint that one moment because I feel like it's after a while where it's just you realize in your head, like, I'm making more money than I'm losing now consistently. Because like you said, nobody's perfect. There's not like a one point where we're like, yeah, we're just good. We're set now. We all could have bad weeks, bad 2 weeks, bad 3 weeks. We could have a bad month overall. But when we start realizing, okay, the past 6 months, I've made way more money than I've lost. That's why it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint it. But I always say roughly around like 2 or 3 years. And it was 2 or 3 years it was difficult. It's still, trading is obviously still a very difficult skill to master. And you never really master it. You're always kind of growing in it.
Yeah.
So what was the most difficult part in this journey?
It was really mastering yourself. Like people hear this all the time on YouTube through everybody saying it's all about psychology. And even I heard that in the beginning, but I'm like, I'm disciplined. I'm like, I'm good. My mental is good. But people don't realize it's a whole different level of discipline. It's a whole different level of patience. You have to learn yourself and then master yourself, which is super, super hard because with the job, right? You could be disciplined in your job because you have your boss. You have your boss that's holding you accountable. Trading is you and the computer. It's you and you versus you. There's nobody holding you accountable except for you. So you have to get to that point where you can hold yourself accountable. So to just plainly answer your question, it was definitely the psychology. Like I feel like I understood reading charts after a couple months. But like mastering just not revenge trading, mastering being consistent, patience, following a strict trading plan, that took a very, very long time.
Did you, during that sort of early, like first 1 to 2 years, did you have somebody with you that was also doing it, or were you completely solo?
No, I was completely solo besides the courses that I bought. So, and then also it all goes back to the psychology of it. Cause it's like, after a while of you losing, you're like, oh, maybe these people are just liars. Like maybe they're not actually trading. Maybe you can't actually make money in this. because I didn't have anybody personally in my circle that I knew that was actually making money. So it was just me by myself watching YouTube videos, me trying to learn. I tried to put other people onto it. My brother was trading for a little bit, but he wasn't doing it like seriously. It was kind of just like something on the side. So I never saw the success levels that I've seen on YouTube through anybody else that I had. It was just me hoping and believing that this is real and striving after it. Yeah. So I guess that is what made it harder. I think definitely having a community makes it a lot easier because you're able to learn from other people's mistakes. You're able to see what worked for somebody else, even though trading is not a one glove or one size fits all kind of thing. You can still see that it's working for someone else. They were able to get over this hurdle of mastering not FOMOing in or mastering being patient and waiting for their A+ setups or whatever it is. So definitely having a community. I 100% wish I had a community or even just like a mentor that just was there that I could just ask questions like all the time.
But many traders, they all say, "Oh, it's the psychology. This is the most difficult part." But can you come on an example? So what do you do Monday morning? Because we all, get into, reverse trade or do mistakes. But it's easy to say it's just the psychology. We need to fix our mindset. But what do you do?
So realistically, so I watched this one video a long time ago by this one guy named Mark Douglas. It's a psychology video. It was like 2 hours long or something like that. And he kind of explained just the psychology behind trading and how it's technically a probability game. It's a game of probability. You take your setups, you have your good setups, you have your bad setups. Your good setups have a higher percentage of winning, but it's like rolling a dice. You can roll a dice and let's say on most of the sides, it's a 5. But on, let's say 2 of the sides, it's a 2. No matter how many times you roll it, you can never, even though you're in favor of rolling on that 5, you never know when that 2 is going to come. But you have to roll the dice either time. So that helped me a lot with my psychology of being confident in my trades and actually taking my trades and not being scared of them.
So it was not only the strategy, it was also the probability calculation.
Yeah. And even you kind of mentioned, what do I do like on a Monday morning?
Yeah.
It really...
you go to the gym, you get enough sleep, you eat healthy. Yeah. There must be something. It's easy to say we fix our mindset, but what do we really do? I'm sure there's a lot of traders out there sitting now and watching, and they're thinking, "Oh, I wish to improve my mindset to be able to do the same like you." Yeah.
So, well, I guess my morning routine is wake up. Obviously, I read my Bible, I pray, I meditate, all that before I get into the charts. But I don't think it's a routine that's really changed it for me. I think it's more so having. I have a very strict plan, right? And when a plan as in like rules that I have to follow in my trading. And if I break those rules, I have a punishment that I don't like to do.
What is that?
It used to be cold showers, but I've gotten used to cold showers now. So,
but that's good, right?
Yeah, because literally, let's say one of my rules is only take 2 trades, right?
Okay.
And I take 3 trades. I instantly take that 3 trades. It's not only that I probably lost the 3rd trade because I was revenge trading, trying to make my money back. But then I have to instantly go hop in a cold shower. And
during the trade?
No, I did it right after.
Okay,
as soon as the trade.
The trade, I'm up, I'm down, and I'm now in cold shower.
Yeah, no. I could not mentally handle me revenge trading for the 3rd time and being in a cold shower.
Okay.
So it's right after the trade closes, win or lose, I have to go take the cold shower. Okay. I've done things up to like 200 push-ups. I've done things where I had to give $100 to just a random person. I've just done a bunch of things to hold me accountable. Because like I was saying before, you're the only person that holds you accountable. And me, I kind of needed to trick myself into holding myself accountable when it came to trading by, I guess, punishing myself. But after a while, I got much better at it. So now it's like second nature to me to be, and realizing the market is here. Like the market is here and the market's not going anywhere. So I can lose, let's say, twice in a day, right? And I would be okay now because I realize tomorrow I can do the same thing and I can make all the money back. So it's not, to answer your question, it's not like a morning routine for me that really does it. Obviously, the prayer meditation helps me kind of calm myself down and kind of get ready for the day. But holding myself accountable during the times when I'm pressing buy or sell, it really just comes with me, I guess, traumatizing myself with cold showers.
You mentioned that your brother tried as well with you, and maybe that he was going to do it with you, but then he didn't take it as serious as you did. So obviously something along the way made you commit to it and stuff like that. But obviously there was also a point where you're like, actually I'm going to rethink this situation. Did that happen? And how did you overcome that? Because I think, we've talked to a lot of people over the last year, and everybody has one or two of those moments in their journey. And I think it's really nice to hear if that happened to you, how did you overcome it?
Yeah, so I've told the story a bunch of times. So it's really because of my ego, the reason I didn't stop. In the beginning, like I said, I was making YouTube videos, so I had a pretty decent amount of money. And I did the whole.
What was that content? The old content?
I used to make videos picking up girls.
Oh,
yeah. So I used to make videos. I did pretty good too. My channel got up to like 1.1 million subscribers or something like that. So I was making pretty decent money on YouTube. But so I had money, and having money and being a beginner trader is very dangerous because I bought the courses like I told you guys. I went on a demo account for like a week. I was using crazy lot sizes. I was like, yeah, I'm seeing $30,000 on my screen. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I could load up 50,000 into an account right now, and I'm making $20,000 a day, easy. Of course, demo account for everybody is super easy. Like, you don't even think about it. You kind of just go for it and use crazy lots. It was probably moving 1 or 2 pips, and I was making $15,000. So after a week of that, I'm like, okay, I'm loading up money to account. Came out, I had a lot of money, so I threw $20,000 to the account, like nothing. I lost it in 2 days. I threw another 10,000 in. I think I was trading GJ gold. I don't even touch gold to this day, actually, because of this specific thing. I'll touch it sometimes, but I got a love-hate relationship. Yeah.
You've been scarred.
Yeah, it's like a toxic relationship with gold right now. But so I threw like another 10K in, lost it, another 15K in, lost it. And within a matter of like 2 weeks, I lost like $60,000 in the beginning of my trading journey. So I'm like, there's no way I'm letting the market keep my $60,000. I need to get it back. So that's why I said it's my ego that really kept me going. It's like, there's no way I'm losing this to them. I have to at least get it back, and then maybe I can quit. So that was really the driving force through it all. I'm like, y'all are not keeping my $60,000.
Did you get it back?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
That would be sad if I was here, 5-6 years later and struggling to get my 60,000 back.
Just another interesting point. You didn't actually say it, but you had a following of 1.1 million people on your channel in a completely different
niche.
Let's say, niche. Did you pivot that audience, or did you start something fresh?
See, that was actually very hard for me because and even to this day, like I'll still get people that's like, oh, you're the guy who used to pick up girls and stuff like that. But I kind of changed my whole persona. I've tried to change my whole persona. I didn't want to be known as that. I was young, obviously. I was just making entertaining content. Now I obviously make content. I try and help people realistically in their real life instead of just making them laugh. So trying to transition from being like the funny guy that picked up girls into the guy that can help you make money. It was actually very hard for me. And I wanted to quit for a little bit because it's like, this is just not working out because that channel was just so big and so many people had already known me. So I ended up converting one of my smaller channels. So I had my main channel where I was posting like the main content. Then I had like a vlog channel that had maybe like 80,000 followers on it or subscribers on it or something like that. So I tried to transition that one into a more like lifestyle or money or trading account. But people still would just comment all the time like, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're the guy who picks up girls.
Yeah.
And it was very hard. It took realistically, especially like transitioning my whole Instagram over, where like majority of people now know me from trading versus just like funny videos and stuff like that. It took probably like a year or 2 years, but realistically, the thing that kind of helped me just keep going, trying to actually continue to do it is Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So he was a wrestler, huge wrestler, and he completely changed his persona into now actor. And I'm like, if he can do that, he had millions of people that was following him, and I only had 1 million people. There's no way I can't change what people know me as. So yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a journey. Everything's a journey. So, but there's going to be a lot of people, and I'm sure there's people even now today always trying to change. Like let's just even look at me. I'm trying to change from never being online to trying to go online, still trying to figure it out a bit too. So yeah, it's a journey, but it's quite interesting that how you did it. I'm sure people will find that quite interesting too.
And I suppose back to that point, do you think that the people that were already watching you transitioned in their mindset of you? Or do you think it's like fresh people and it was kind of just new people that started following and those people who had that different mindset dropped away?
So I think it's a mixture of both because like right now I still get messages to this point where it's like, I grew up with this guy. Like I was watching him in high school teach me how to pick up girls in school, and now he's teaching me how to make money.
Nice.
So I think it's a mixture of both because there's some people that message me and like, oh, I saw another channel you had 1 million subscribers. I never knew you made these kind of videos before. and I'm like just cringing in my head. But yeah, so I think it's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Because like I said, still get messages to this day where it's like, you used to make me laugh, and now you're making me money.
Yeah,
which is dope.
I think it's almost, as I'm thinking about it here, it's almost a skill and a confidence level in both.
Yeah,
almost the things that might make you good at both of them.
Yeah, you know, probably.
It's just two different skills. It's like one task is picking up girls, one task is
making money,
picking up pips.
Yeah, and it's funny. I actually relate it a lot of times when I'm talking to people. This is more like on a technical side of trading, but because I'm big on not trading every single pair. Like I'm big on choosing specific, let's say max 3 pairs that you're going to trade and focusing on those. I relate it to girls all the time. I'm like, if you date 20 different girls, you're not going to know their personalities. You're not going to know what this one likes, what food this one likes, where this one likes to go. Same thing when it comes to trading. No matter what pair you're trading, they each have their own personalities. And if you're able to focus on the pairs, then you can understand like GJ moves better in London session and likes breakouts or whatever it is, right? And you would only learn that by focusing on a specific amount of a handful of pairs versus you trying to trade every single pair that your broker allows you to trade.
So 3 pairs and 3 girls.
Yeah.
No.
Don't cheat on your pairs. Don't cheat on your girls.
Now I'm trading 5 pairs. Oh, good week, 5 girls. How was it? I mean, okay.
Don't cheat on your pairs and don't cheat on your girls.
It's smart. I'm taking notes.
Yeah. And so I suppose one of the transitions we've seen, you know, and even from working with you, is that you've obviously been trading your live account, but also you've gone and done the challenge. You've gone and done a funded account.
Yeah.
How did you find the difference between the two of them in terms of yourself, your mindset, your strategies?
Yeah. So I was actually just talking to, I think I was talking to one of my students about this. It's like, you could be great on a live account and suck on a funded. Like I was already profitable consistently on my live account before I started a funded account. And I sucked. I like blew like 5 funded accounts because it's a whole different world. It's, you can have your rules and your trading plan and stuff like that. But then when you move on to a funded account, I feel like it's more pressure on a funded account somehow, even though, I don't know. I think it's just a whole different kind of world. And even like there's a lot of traders that I know that are funded, but they would never touch their live account because they don't have the discipline to not lose, whatever your max drawdown is or whatever on a funded account. It kind of gives you your own prerequisite of rules. They don't have the discipline to do that with their own live account. So I think it's a completely different kind of world. They're not, someone who can kill it on live can't automatically kill it on funded, or someone who's killing it on a funded account can't automatically kill it on live. You obviously can do both at the same time, but you need to realize the difference between them two.
Yeah. They're
not the same thing at all. But just talking about like funded accounts, I think funded accounts are amazing. I think they're really, if you think about it, if anybody is in real estate or if you guys are in real estate, we don't like using our own money. We don't go and buy, we shouldn't go and buy a huge commercial property for $10 million and put down $10 million. We want the bank to partner with us and you be able to use their funds to be able to invest. And that's how I feel like it is with funded accounts. It's great to be able to leverage your skills with somebody else's funds to just obviously grow your portfolio and obviously make money. So I think funded accounts are absolutely amazing for this community overall, as long as people can realize it's not play money and like treat it like a real account.
Yeah. And that's one of the things we see as well. I suppose it is that discipline.
Yeah.
It's making sure, because obviously if you don't feel bought into it, you know, it's easy to treat it like a demo.
Yeah.
When actually there's real capital there on the market and there's, you know.
Well, there should be.
Yeah. Well, yes, it should be. But yeah, I think it goes exactly what you said. It's a mindset thing, and some people are able to keep themselves accountable themselves, and they're very strict in their discipline. And then I think, you know, for people who need that discipline, it's a really good way to not have a cold shower.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But a lot of baits.
I kind of wanted to ask you guys, what made you guys kind of want to fill in the gap of like you guys seeing, I'm assuming that you guys saw just like something wrong in the market or something that was missing in the market. What made you guys kind of want to step in and feel like I have an idea that would make the market better, that would make the whole kind of industry better?
Yeah. I think the reason we got into it exactly like that. So we've seen the industry moving. So we've been in the wider Forex industry providing technology for quite a long time within the group. And then obviously seeing prop coming along and just seeing, hearing the stories, hearing people who maybe just the trades didn't go the way that they should have gone, and for us, the same way as you said it, we really, really believe in the value of a funded account and having that leverage, somebody who really wants to make it and somebody who really wants to, be consistent and have this as a job. It's really hard to go from $500 to, earning a living.
Yeah.
Because, what do you want to do? You want to earn $2,000 a month, let's say, which is very reasonable. You're going to have to Forex your account.
Yeah. Every month.
Yeah. Every single month, whereas if you get a 200K account, you're just, what are you doing? 1%.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing reduction of risk, and you're using your skill and you're being consistent. So I think for us, we saw the value, but we also saw the way, we felt that it was kind of maybe on a verge of going one way or the other. And, we got involved because we believed in the value, and we saw that we could actually try and, make the conditions right for traders, make sure that the industry, in as much power as we have, go in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. We also, from that's obviously from the brand point of view, but one thing that we also like to do is if we feel that we can do something we can change, or at least offer something that is clear change, we also want to be able to allow other people who have a very, very similar mindset, who maybe can't get into the space because of some barrier to entry, some lack of technology. Like we focused on creating, let's call it like a MVP of what a prop is, and go to market with that and prove that works. So we started with that base technology, and it was like literally just a 1-page dashboard with, true market conditions, all of the stuff that about the brand. Yeah. But it was just one dashboard, 1 page, nothing else. And just that sentence, this is what we're about to do. And then building on that, developing on that. Now you have what you see in FunderPro, but from a tech point of view, and then from the interest and aligning with the trader point of view, that matching of business to business and business to customer really makes a lot of sense. So like if you want to, you have the same ambition as us, like you want to do the same type of strategy, you want to really, really fund your clients, you can just come to us and take exactly what we have and offer that under your group and your community, and we felt that we really, really had to put that forward, and that's what we focused on the last 2 years.
Yeah. And I think the more we can make sure that by providing our technology to more and more businesses, we then have the ability to, have pretty clear rules. If you're using our technology, you need to fund your traders. You need to do the payouts. Because if we do those small little things, that is kind of a hard stop for us, it then hopefully brings the industry in the right direction where, people are treating traders the correct way. The trades are being executed as they should be, and the things are going right. And then whatever else is going on in the industry, at least now traders are seeing what's possible. They're seeing that enough people are doing it the right way. And hopefully that kind of puts downward pressure then to, make things all go in the right direction.
Yeah, kind of setting a basis for how good a company has to be.
Yeah.
A requirement for how good they have to be, which I think is amazing. So kind of since starting, and I don't mean to flip the whole interview.
No.
I'm just curious.
It's only a chat.
So after kind of starting, getting inside the space of just like the funded accounts overall, what have you kind of noticed when it came to traders as to why they're losing a lot inside the funded accounts? Like what's been holding a lot of people back?
Yeah, I think it almost comes back to what you said earlier and the accountability piece. At the end of the day, the first thing that we need to realize is, this is not easy.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be easy. You're getting access to 100, 200K in money.
Yeah. So
it shouldn't be easy. And it's a way to try and find the best traders and try and find who we can fund. So first and foremost, people should be doing their education. They should be trying to master their mindset while they're coming into this, and then, using demos, using different strategies so that they can actually prepare for it. That's the first thing. But then it's, really, if they can almost treat it like theirs, that's kind of the second level. I think a lot of people, the shift that we see happening is people are consistent for a while. They're trading, they're doing the right things, and then bam,
they snap one day.
30 lots.
Yeah,
and you're like, what are you doing?
We touched on it like yesterday a little bit as well.
Yeah.
It's the fact that when you're trading your money, you do a certain type of trade with a certain type of volume, with a certain, emotion.
Yeah.
But when the capital is greater, obviously you have the potential to put on a lot more. A lot more
then
lots, a lot more trades.
Huge lots on news days.
Yeah, and then I would imagine. So I'm not a trader. I have traded to test my products, so I know and how people feel when they lose, or how people feel if something went wrong, and how to fix those things. But like, it gets to a point where you're like, okay, this isn't my capital. I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to try get out of this hole. Yeah. And I think you said it like, you're good on your live, and then sometimes there's a little bit of a different type of mindset on the funded account. I think that is like, you're doing well, and then you trip yourself up, and you say to yourself eventually, okay, this isn't my money.
Yeah.
And
then you stop
that's
caring. That could be dangerous.
Huge thing.
And I think as well, that thing comes over to our side of the fence, and now we're starting, we've got enough information, we've been at this long enough that we're starting to say, okay, what can we now do as a business that actually promotes the right behaviors?
Yeah.
So I think you look in the industry, and quite often, challenges are getting easier, challenges are getting cheaper. But that's kind of against the trader's best interests, because if it's easier to pass, you're not prepared when you get funded.
The live one.
Yeah. And so if we can start putting in rules like, let's say no trading over weekends and no trading over news. It's, we get a lot of heat about it. People they don't really like it. But the thing is, we know when people do that, they're losing their accounts. And so we're putting these rules in place to try and help people, putting a rule that maybe some people find negative, but actually the majority of people are going to find it as a positive in a default way, because we're saving them from themselves.
Yeah,
we're
you're
saving
making them a better trader.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So have you guys also noticed, because I've noticed this a lot, even I think the first time I ever passed was someone could do great on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the live comes, they instantly just no wins.
Been down.
Like I'm pretty sure I did that the first time I ever passed the funded account.
Yeah.
I passed it easy, right? I was like, oh, I'm the best trader in the world. So I'm like, they need to hide every funded account challenge for me, because I'm too good at this point. Went on the live account. I think this is probably my longest losing streak ever. I probably had like 6 or 7 losses in a row, just back to back to back. And I think I probably did in like 3 days. It was pretty bad. But have you noticed that in people?
Yeah, I think it's and it's that mindset shift. It's like, oof, now it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from that demo account to the real account.
Yeah. And I think that's really what it is. 'Cause, again, it's funny enough because the conditions are the same in both, which is important. Again, you don't want easier conditions in the challenge. You need to be challenged, but I think it still is that mindset shift of, oh, now it's real money. I need to be careful now.
Yeah.
One thing that, like, obviously we just said that, everybody's focusing on the price, everybody's focusing on the little rules and stuff like that. One thing that and Christian is spearheading is going and reviewing, interviewing, asking questions with people that are going through their phases and, passing or failing, and then getting their live account, even successful. You have successful interviewers with funded traders, but then there's obviously unsuccessful funded traders who have actually unfortunately lost.
Mm-hmm.
Interviewing those people, asking questions, and Christian, you're doing a lot of effort on this to try get into the people's mindset and review with them, to make, let's say, more people aware, but also better decisions. Because if you see 10 people who have failed and you're in your live and you can learn from that, that's going to really, really help you, right? And you can consume that content, you can consume that education. You might have asked some questions. So like you're doing a lot of that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. How many challenges? Can you remember how many you took before you passed the first one?
I think like 5.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like did like 5.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. So what have you? Because you said you've like been asking people the questions. What have you heard like the most, like the top 3?
But it's a mindset game. Trading is exactly like you said in the beginning. I mean, everybody can learn something about some strategies, right? Be profitable.
Yeah.
In the demo for 1-2 months. But then the same thing happened for me. First time I got funded, 50K, the account just went straight into minus and I lost it. And from that moment, I mean, it started playing tricks with your mind, and everybody's saying this. So mindset, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
All 3 things.
Yeah.
Mindset.
How many accounts have you been through, Christian?
Sorry?
How many accounts have you been through?
A lot. Probably 40.
40?
Yeah. But you know, I lost many of them in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's go back into it. Try to optimize my trading system. I won, got some profit, reinvested back into more accounts, and just, I mean, every time I won, bought more accounts. So it hasn't been, I mean, I didn't lose all 40. Like just like
it wasn't just 40 in a
row. But
now
I have a strategy where I can say like, look, now I have managed, and I know how to manage my emotions now. Yeah. But like you, it took 2-3 years.
Yeah. Do you have like a switch, or do you have a morning routine that helps that, or it's just over time?
You know, it's a process. You can't, I mean, it's not like, hey, Friday was bad, Monday I'm good. It's not like that. It's 2 years of hell everybody has to go through, and some people can't, and they will stop trading. And the people who just continue going, I mean, sooner or later they will make it.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, when you make it, it doesn't mean that if you sign up for a challenge next week, you will not lose it. I mean, you can easily lose it because the market changed, right? So, but after 2 years, if you're still going, you are probably, I mean, you have learned a lot about yourself. Definitely. And you are probably another person from the moment you started.
Definitely.
So it's all about just keep going and keep challenge yourself and your mindset, and create those morning routines. Like you said, maybe.
Yeah, I think one of the things we were talking about last night was, you know, when it shifted from, let's say, a 30-day to unlimited timing. So obviously we've been doing the unlimited timing from the beginning. Those little tweaks just can help so much, because now it takes the pressure off. Now it's like, okay, I'm not in a rush to do this. And I think one of the biggest stumbling blocks is people are under pressure. They feel like, you know, you see the videos, hey, I'll pass the challenge in 35 minutes. Yeah. You know, it's like...
Pretty sure I made one of those videos before.
Yeah, I think so. 50K, 10 minutes, here I am, I'm ready for the market. Oh, no, you're not. It will go like, like this. Right?
Yeah, but it's nothing against those videos. Great.
Yeah. It's just not good for everybody.
Yeah, but I think it's, you know, it can feel... You know, sometimes it can feel like it's a rush to do it. And I think one of the key things, and one of the things that we're hearing is from the people who are, you know, maybe failed a few and eventually getting through, it's like, okay, calm down. Let's go at this clearly, consistently.
Yeah.
That's one of the key things that we're hearing from people. You know, people who are getting through, and, you know, we've had one person now who got 11 payouts in 14 days. So he was just consistently talking about consistency. You know, a couple of $100, stop your trades.
It's possible because we have daily payouts. Yeah. So every time he was in profit, and it's very good for his psychology. Yeah. He said, okay, he requested the money.
You should, if the payout's due, you should get it off the system. It's the best. Put it in your bank.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, but it's fantastic. I mean,
but I think all of these small little cues is just, let's take the pressure off. Let's not try and go too big. Let's just go consistent. You know, and then over time, that's then when it starts banking. And then obviously, look, some days you're going to have really big wins. Some days you'll have losses. Yeah. But it's a goal of saying consistency, and take it as it comes. I think that's the key thing that we've been learning.
I think there are specific 4 areas all traders should look at. I mean, and you have already done it, right? Of course, you need to have a strategy, but that's only a small part of it. Mindset we talked about before, it's huge. But there's two other things: probability calculation and risk management. And you should put everything together. Like you said, with the coin flip, it's a 50-50, right? Yeah. So if you have a good strategy, good risk management, you can do good probability calculation, and you manage to do the morning routine with your mindset, you're off for a very good start. Yeah. And this is after.
So I think from this, obviously, one good thing then to talk about might be diversification, because I think, trading is obviously an incredible way to earn an income and to consistently do it. And it's an incredible skill. But I think what's important also for people to understand is diversification is very important to have those other revenue streams.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key things that you've done in your life to really bring yourself up to that next level. It might be good to hear, I suppose, how you've done that. How did you transition from, being the YouTube, having the YouTube channel, earning revenue, then having trading and earning revenue, and how did you then bring that into the diversification?
Yeah. So a lot of people, especially beginners, I feel like they look at trading as the end goal. They look at it as that once I get this down pack, I'm done for the rest of my life. And I've always thought of it on a completely different way. A lot of people have asked me, like, when did you become like a full-time trader? I've never been a full-time trader. I've always had other sources of income. And I think that's what's made trading a little bit less stressful for me. So I feel like people who solely rely on trading over the long run, of course, you can do it for a little bit, of course, by building your funds up to invest into other things. But over the long run, it makes sense to diversify, because then you're taking the pressure off your back. You don't have to take that trade. You don't have to take that riskier setup. You can wait for your perfect setup, the setup that you love, because you have money coming in that'll pay your bills, that'll buy diapers for your kid or whatever it is, right? So diversification for me has been key. It's been trading, like you said, is a great vehicle. It's a great vehicle for making money to invest into other things. Realistically, like, just being completely honest, I don't want to be a trader for the rest of my life. Trading is a very stressful job. It makes great money, but after a while, especially of making a good amount of money, the value of money doesn't really matter that much anymore. So like trading, like stress or trading, I give my daughter baths every single night. So if I miss bath time with my daughter, I would not want to miss bath time with my daughter, even if I made $10,000 on a trade. Yeah. Because it's just, after a while, once you start making money, obviously for people who don't really have money, it's a little bit different. But once you start making money consistently, you kind of realize, like, it's not all bad. Yeah. Kind of. It's good, but it's not all that. There are things that are better than it. So you kind of talked about diversification. So right now, literally, I'm completely diversifying all the money I make from trading. So I rarely ever take money from trading to buy something nice. It's all going into well, this is, I guess, getting into my business, but it all goes into another just account that I used to buy real estate. So, and it's crazy, especially these days when it comes to traders. Even like, I get hit up all the time on Instagram, like, you're not a real trader. You don't even have a Lamborghini. I'm like, I'm just not a car person. That's the only reason I don't have a Lamborghini. But it's so crazy how, and no hate to anybody that buys Lamborghinis. It's just not my personal thing.
I love them.
Yeah. A lot of people love Lamborghinis, but I like nice houses. So I put all my money into buying real estate. I'm not a Lamborghini guy, but kind of getting back on topic, just diversifying the money, making the money in trading, diversifying it into buying real estate, buying crypto if you want, buying businesses, just really anything. It's super hard to just be a trader, and you're not going to want to always just be a trader. You have to diversify. It takes the stress off of trading.
Yeah, I think you've just highlighted, like, put it into something that gives you a return. Yeah, like a dividend paying asset, income or rental income paying asset. Just put into something that gives you a return. Yeah, it's obviously nice to have something nice as well. Like, for example, for you, for the nice house, or the car, whatever like that. The house and the car, maybe. But yeah, I think that's super important, and something that I've definitely done it as well over the last 10 plus years. It's super important. But like technology, assets, houses, stuff that pays you dividends. Yeah, this is obviously super important. So yeah, make the foundation where you can here in trading. Yeah, or in the funded account. But yeah, definitely
take that money and make more money. Yeah, make money, buy assets. That's what I like to say.
And how did you, I suppose, bringing it back to somebody who might be watching here now, who's either, they're on their own account or they've got a funded account, and, they're starting that journey. So how, I suppose, what would you say to somebody who's starting that journey to switch in that mindset, to get that start, to get that first asset that's going to start paying them dividends?
As in someone who's already kind of been successful in trading, wants to...
Yeah, so they're starting to get their success. They've got their funded account. Maybe they're starting to make a couple of $1,000s, on that account, and they're starting their journey through.
Yeah, got you. So realistically, it's actually very hard to tell a trader to diversify because we're used to being able to make 10% a day on an account. But if you say if you buy this piece of real estate, you'll make 3% a month. They're like, but I could just load up 100K into an account and make $50,000 in a month or whatever like that. So people that's kind of starting off, it doesn't matter what vehicle I think they use to kind of diversify. I just think that they have to diversify. Having a bunch of streams coming in is way better than relying solely on one huge stream because, and we didn't really talk about this, but the market has different phases, right? You could be really good in 2021. You could be really good in even first quarter of 2022 and just suck in 2023 or suck in the last 3 quarters of the year, whatever it is, right? So realizing that you shouldn't and you don't have to solely rely on just the trading, I think it's huge, just mentally for everybody, especially in the beginning, just realizing that this is a vehicle to get to the end goal. It's not the end goal. It's a vehicle to get there.
Yeah. Nice.
And what's your strategy?
As far as like what I trade?
Yeah.
I for the most part do a lot of just regular calm support and resistance and breakouts.
On higher time frames and
no, I'm on the 15-minute for the most part, 15-minute, 5-minute entries.
Okay.
So I'm
US session, London session, or it's just like whenever you hit
US
the support?
session, but because I'm out here in Dubai now, I can touch London session. I haven't traded London session in a while because I didn't want to stay up till 3:00 my time back in the States. But I think I'm gonna give London session a go now. But for the most part, it's New York session.
Okay.
Within the first around 3 hours.
You gotta watch his shorts; they're deadly. Your YouTube shorts, I love watching them.
Yeah, they're pretty funny. Like when I watch back on it, because it's like, when you're trading, right? We all know, all the people that have traded before, it's like the emotions are just there. So when I'm rewatching my TikTok, I'm like, dang, I said that. Like one time it was close to my my take profit. I think it's on a video on my YouTube or something like that. It was close to my take profit, but it kept going up and down. And I said in the video, why is it twerking on the line? And I'm like, I said that. So yeah,
it's very annoying when it's happening. You just need one pit.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
that's what it was.
Come on, man, and you never know if it's. And
yeah,
then you just leave the computer and you're coming back, and the market just went down. It's like, okay, that was easy.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's actually really funny watching back my videos because I don't even remember half the things that I said because I'm just in the moment. I'm in the moment of trading. It's like you're in just a whole different zone realistically when you're trading.
I wanted to ask because I know that you've used TradeLocker. I just want to ask you like real quick feedback, thoughts. What would you like to see? What don't you like in it? Could you give us a little rapid fire feedback on it?
Yeah, definitely. So MetaTrader 4, and I've always said this, MetaTrader, and I'm not here to like talk bad about no company, nothing like that. But MetaTrader 4 is a very older kind of play. It just looks old. It kind of looks like how I thought stocks were before I knew day trading. Right now, obviously, I can obviously look at MetaTrader 4 and see kind of what it is. But before, I used to think it was just a bunch of like old thingies. I don't know. But that's kind of to me how MetaTrader 4 was. So when I heard about TradeLocker, and I actually saw it and used it for the first time, I'm like, this is like new way. This is like what it should be in this day and age. This is what it should look like. This is what it should feel like. It's definitely a lot more beginner friendly, as in it looks approachable. It's honestly very similar to just like trading off like a trading view chart. You have everything you have there, except you can trade. Like you can trade directly from it. So I personally think TradeLocker is amazing. I'm just surprised that it took so long for like you, not for y'all to come out with it, but for somebody to do it.
If someone was gonna do it, it's gonna be us. But yeah, it took a while.
How long did it actually take to get
it to where it is right now? Last September 2022 start.
That's not even that bad. That's crazy. Dang, I wish I was y'all. I should have thought of TradeLocker.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for the feedback. Did you see the new order panel?
No, I didn't. What?
Take a look at it. They put like a lot of risk calculation
directly in it.
And then next week or the week after, we're going to have lock calculation directly there. So you don't have to go to third-party website.
Oh, that's
calculate your
great.
lots up or anything
because
like
that is like one of the biggest, especially for newer trader. Even like me, like sometimes I still got to go to a calculator and be like, okay, what lot size am I using now? Because I don't keep the same lot size. I risk a certain dollar amount, so it depends on my stop loss.
Yeah, so obviously, this stop loss dollar amount, you can literally visualize as you start bringing your stop loss out, what your dollar loss is going to be. Yeah. And then obviously you bring your trade to break even, and then you bring maybe into profit. You can see exactly what you're going to get
Oh, that's major. So what other kind of switching the interview back to me asking the questions, but what other ideas do you guys have that you guys want to roll out that you think the community has been waiting for?
Just for TradeLocker?
Yeah.
For the next biggest things, we're always focusing on the term next gen. Okay. One thing that's definitely missing, and one thing that we're going to solve between now and the end of the year into the first quarter next year, is going to be EA's robot trading, personal scripts, all in TradeLocker. So you go to TradeLocker Studio, you type in your script if you're a coder, or you can just ask it because it's going to have AI inside. And it'll define the script for you, and then you can place that on your charts for your own indicators. You can ask someone to build an indicator for you. That's going to be huge. But the other thing is, which is definitely not in the space right now, is to actually go live on your chart with your audience. So you press go live, people will get a notification of that, and they will see and visualize your trading. That's dope. Eventually, we'd like to take it a little bit further as well. So if people wanted to follow your trades a percent. So you have your account, let's say 10, 20K. That's obviously a lot of money, but maybe I don't have that, but I have $1,000. I can just say, I'm going to follow you 10%, for example. So no matter what you do, I will take a 10% on my account based on your trade.
That's dope.
So this is going to be one of the biggest hits that we're going to try to get out there by next year. Yeah,
it's going to be really good. Well, you kind of mentioned like being able to live stream straight from the chart. It's going to knock a lot of the fake gurus out of there. Which would be cool. But even kind of going back to what you were saying about, dang, I just lost my train of thought. I was about to say something really good too, but
we said risk calculation, the order size calculation, the scripts. And AI.
Oh yeah, scripts. So would you allow like a market or create like a marketplace for people that wanted to kind of create their own scripts and sell it to a community or something like that?
I think if you make a script and sell it third party, that's fine. Yeah. And we don't know how exactly we want to do it right now, but the goal is to try and empower people who do have their own, like you were showing a bit of a strategy yesterday, you were showing thoughts. Obviously, you should be able to bring that with you from one platform into TradeLocker. Yeah. And we want to make sure that we have the ability to allow every type of trader, every type of person who with different strategies, different thought processes, different mindsets, whether it's robot, manual, just looking for confluence or whatever like that. We want to make sure that you can come to TradeLocker and feel at home. Yeah. So we just want first to sort of sort the individual out, and then if you want to sell it or whatever like that, that could be something you do as well later on. But we're not there yet. But let's see. Could be there.
So I think there's a lot of traders out there, they're very good in trading. They have a strategy, but they're not coders. They can't code. So try to explain when I have a good strategy, I think, what do I do if I come to TradeLocker and I want to use my EA or build my EA? Can I do that, or do I need to call my friend who's a programmer?
So I did an exercise last March where I read a book. And I saw some cool sentences in there, like bull flag momentum, A, B, C, D pattern, and stuff like that. And I went to ChatGPT and I typed up to write me an indicator to identify buys and sells. So buying in.
So I go to ChatGPT and write my.
That's what I did just to see, can this work, Yeah. And then I took that sort of idea and we went back to the TradeLocker team. We're like, what if people want to ask questions to, let's say, the market? So you're saying, okay, fine, you're looking at Euro USD. Just put a thought together and say, hey, what happens if I was trading Euro USD in 2021 and I was trying to find this setup or this pattern? Show me the success rate I would have had, and it would generate a bit of script. It would lay over on the chart, and then it will show me buy sells that it could have taken since 2021 coming forward. Then we're going to obviously have back testing and stuff like that, so you can see profitability, percentages, and all that. We're just trying to bring those thoughts into TradeLocker. It's going to be TradeLocker Studio, so that you can ask questions as a trader. Like what would happen if I imagine your strategy, your thought process now. Imagine you could just see what would happen if you've been doing that for the last 2 years. It would just show you.
I think I saw a video from TradeLocker.
We went
just clicked one. I mean, he wrote inside ChatGPT. You clicked, whoop, it was inside TradeLocker, right?
It's in TradeLocker. So on this side, you have your AI. You have your coding box up there, and you have AI here. So if you code, you code. If you don't, you ask questions, and it will define the code for you, and then you apply it to the chart.
Yeah.
So it's a tool. mainly now for indicators and for back testing. But the goal will be to get enough people interested to be able to actually make stuff to, algo trade and actually have EAs, proper EAs. So you have your MT4, your MT5 EA, get the code, rewrite it in Python and load it up.
Yeah. I think what the great thing about AI is, when let's say you're creating these indicators, one of the biggest things is getting those little tweaks, because, we've all used ChatGPT. It is incredible, but it's never the finished thing.
Yeah.
And you do always need to make those little tweaks. And so I think what's important is that, okay, people now have a tool that they can try what they were first thinking. They can back test what they were thinking, that they can validate it to a certain extent. Then they start using it. Then you see what little tweaks you need to make to then improve and improve and improve. I think that's the key thing as well, and it's going to help people improve the speed at which they can do that. Because, if you're creating a strategy and you need to wait for your friend 2 weeks to make the thing, and then you put it out to the market and you're like, oh, I need to actually change this to,
Well, I did that because I wanted to back test. So I called a friend who's very good in writing codes, and he speeded up everything for me. So I could answer questions in a very short time, but he spent a month on creating everything for me.
Yeah.
And so for traders to be able to do this so fast.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. It's just that test really quickly, and not have to wait weeks to get get that feedback.
Are you using an EA? How do you?
Right now, no. But it kind of was bringing me to a question I wanted to ask. Obviously, we're all in the space, and we all see different aspects inside of the space. How do you guys think AI is going to affect the industry overall when it comes to trading? As far as like even EAs and how EAs are evolving. Just overall, how do you guys think they will?
People, since the dawn of time, want to do things faster.
Yeah.
And obviously now it's, okay, how can I get rich faster?
Yeah.
Let's say, right? For the masses.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest issue, because you can write something that will look great because it's very, very biased to make sure that you're happy, right?
Yeah.
I would think, right? Especially if you just ask it to write content. It's always very, very happy, bias, all this type of stuff. So I think that's going to be the biggest downfall, because if I think that's going to help me get rich quick, I'm just going to apply it. I'm going to like auto, and it's going to do it, and it's going to waste all my money, especially if you're making a robot with it without any actual thought process, without any proof, without any knowledge. That to me is a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
I think as well, you need to see it as a tool and not the only thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're using even like an EA now that doesn't have AI, if you're using that only as that, over time they will generally fail, because the market conditions change, because something happens that means now it doesn't work. And so I think people need to use this as a tool that it is. It's like, a carpenter. A carpenter can't do everything with one hammer.
Yeah.
You need to cut wood, and you can't do it with a hammer.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, with AI. When you're trading, you need to just use that as a tool. You need to support in what you're doing. But I think people still need to be behind it. They still need to be guiding it. I think that's the shift that people are going to make. And I think if for the people who know how to do that and, do it effectively, I think they're then going to get a huge boost. But I think people who rely on it too much and it's the only thing, I think they're going to get burnt.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought process when it comes to it, because kind of how we had talked about how one strategy could work for somebody and it cannot work for somebody else. So it's not a one size fits all kind of thing. And I feel like there are a lot of people that just rely totally on an EA. So you kind of mentioned, you asked me if I use one or not. I don't personally use one, because I in my head, I'm like, if this just does this, especially where it's at right now, maybe later on when AI can kind of get like emotions and kind of get a little bit more, emotions would be kind of scary, but when it can get more so, what's the word? Just different thought processes in different situations to kind of just narrow things down. Because us as traders, we can see one setup and we can see a setup that looks very similar to it, but it's just one small change to it that makes us not take it.
Yeah, if you look at the big time frame, you understand, something happened 1 month ago. No, I'm not going to take this.
Yeah, or even like
that's
the size of a wick somewhere or something like that.
Yeah.
We would see that and be like, okay, I don't really want to take that setup anymore, versus we would take it in a different instance. And an EA is hard to catch on that unless we can really specify a lot of that.
Yeah, but even that EA is stuck with the knowledge of the time it was created.
Yeah.
And there's just so much more information every second of every day that goes by. More information is available, more information is available, more information is available.
Yeah.
And without that feed in, like a current EA or even AI, it ain't gonna work, because it just needs a lot of data sources to be able to then start changing and tweaking itself and fixing itself.
Yeah. So, I mean, to kind of answer my own question in my words, I think EAs are definitely good, and AI is definitely going to help. How you said, we kind of like to speed up a lot of things. It can definitely help speed up a lot of things, but it's not the end goal.
No, it's not going to stop you doing 2 years of stress and losing money to become successful. That's not going to get solved.
Yeah.
Maybe it becomes, a year and 7 months, but you're still going to do a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think then the final bit as well is, when you've found that good strategy, the hardest bit for every trader is don't touch it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, you should close.
Just leave it.
Leave it alone as well. So I think there is always that balance as well of the technology that you have and making sure that your own human nature doesn't affect it when it's doing the right job.
Yeah, because there's both sides to it. Because if traders could be a lot more robotic, we'd be better traders.
Yeah.
But we can't be a robot.
No.
So it's a middle ground. We have to be robotic as far as keep rolling the dice, like I was kind of explaining before. But we can't just be completely robotic, where we're just, after we're up $5,000, we're still at the casino table rolling the dice.
Yeah.
So we have to have some type of human nature inside of us.
Yeah.
That a wrap?
Okay. And on that future thinking point, I think that's a good place to leave it up. So thanks a lot for your time today, everybody. And
Thanks, Joovier.
Thanks, Joovier. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Catch you next time.